Hello and welcome back to the Blue Podcast Network. This is the Chequered Show. I'm your host, Matthew. I'm with Ethan and Ronnie, and we're going to be taking you through all the latest F1 action. Should we start with Imola?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, we're always
Yes. Yeah, I know.
Well, we're just going to do the F1 show.
No, we'll sack off the F1s.
Yeah, we just won't talk about the race that has just happened.
What part of Imola do you want to start with then?
We'll probably
The first thing that happens, yeah.
So qualifying then?
Yeah.
Well, yeah.
All right, so let's start with FP1 then. What were your thoughts on
Oh, who
FP1?
gives a shit about FP1, FP2?
Right,
But Sonoda crashing.
I'm going to say that's probably the main thing to talk about. That crash was, Jesus, I've not seen a car like that in a while do that.
Thankfully, there was an invention of a halo, otherwise he'd be dead.
Oh, yeah.
Well, who was it at Silverstone who...
When?
Zoe.
Guan Yu Zhou.
There's roughly, I'd say about the same thing. Like,
Yeah, I do
Wait,
think
the
that
one
one
where
was
it goes
slightly
straight
worse.
into
Yeah.
In the
I
cages.
think I think that was slightly worse.
That one was worse.
That one was
It went
worse.
faster.
But
Yeah.
Same sort of thing.
It's still a very bad crash. And it shows you how good F1 safety standards are now that he literally just got out of the car and walked off and he was fine.
Just
after
like
that
you said,
crash.
Well, a lot of people complain about FIA, but that's the one thing that they're good at.
It's what was their main
safety.
focus at the moment. I think is safety, and
Yeah.
they are doing a good job.
Well,
of
you
it.
don't say if they're flying around the track at a few hundred miles an hour. You don't safety's a big concern.
Oh,
Yeah.
Obviously it is, but like they've done a
They
good
got it
job with
right.
Yeah,
They got it
they've
right.
got it right. Because obviously it had a lot of stick when the Halo came in because of the way it looks, but I don't think anyone's complaining anymore because I'd say that's 3 or 4 lives it's now probably saved because you've got Grosjean, Tsunoda now,
definitely.
Guan Yu Zhou as well from that crash probably. There was another one as well. I can't remember who it was. Hamilton. It was Lewis Hamilton at Monza. Remember when
The Rosberg one.
No, when Verstappen and him
Oh, yeah,
collided
yeah,
and
just
and
went
his
way on
and
top, yeah.
Verstappen's
Went
tire
over the
ended up
top.
over his
Yeah.
head. Yeah,
Right, yeah.
Because if the
That
Halo
is the
wasn't-
crash I was on about. I don't know why I said Rosberg.
if the Halo wasn't there, it would have been straight on his head. But who actually ended up on pole? Piastri, wasn't it? Yeah. Well, it was a good lap.
Boring.
Yeah, boring. I mean, are we going to get bored of this Piastri dominance?
Yes.
Although he didn't win the race though. Should we talk about lap 1? That great move.
Well, everyone was saying it's like one of the best moves in a long time.
I think so. I mean, it's just the ballsiness, like the way he went down round the outside, pretty much blind into the corner because Piastri's on the left.
I would also say if they were the other way around, that wouldn't have happened.
What you don't think
Verstappen would have been more of a prick.
What you think he'd have pushed him wide?
Yes.
Yeah,
I think Verstappen would have been more of a prick.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that Piastri didn't do that because it shows that he's got higher standards than that.
Yeah.
Because they shouldn't all stoop down to Verstappen's level just because he normally does.
I wouldn't say it's stooping down. I wouldn't say.
Well, no, but I mean in terms of like he's known
two-time
for
world champion.
He's known for not always being the fairest driver.
I mean, also Verstappen doing it in this car as well and winning the race. That's.
I know. I
think that's unreal.
The fact he won that race with such dominance as well. Like I know the safety car meant that he didn't actually end up miles ahead by the end of the race, but he was 20 seconds clear at one point.
Yeah.
I know he got to pit under the VSC, but most people did. So he drove an incredible race. And that car, I don't know if they've had an upgrade because obviously
I don't think it was. Aston Martin had an upgrade, didn't they?
Yeah.
And another car did. I don't know what car.
Well, I
it was.
wasn't sure because Tsunoda did well to climb back up the field as well. He seemed to have pace in the car after qualifying last, obviously, because of his crash.
Maybe there was an upgrade.
I don't know, but it definitely looked to have more pace. It looked to be a bit easier to drive, and the McLarens couldn't actually keep up with it. But me and Ethan were talking before the show. Do you think McLaren are just bad at starts? Because that's now Norris and Piastri both seen get bad starts recently.
Well, Norris starts have been a problem even last year as well. He was shocking from the start.
I think
I'm fairly certain he was like the most.
Both of them.
You think inexperienced?
Well, I mean, to be fair, they are both young, but I'm fairly certain Norris has got he's got the most positions lost, starting wrap.
That's also because I'd say argue that's same for both the Ferrari cars though, because they always, other than this race, but they always qualify high and then drop down, don't they?
Could it be something to do with their launch time? I mean, I don't know how much it plays a factor because it can't be reaction time surely because they have good reaction time.
I mean, I'm no Adrian Newey, so I would never.
It must be something to do with the launch time of the car, I reckon. But talking of Ferrari, which you mentioned there, they had a very good race, I thought, considering they both
Hamilton
qualified.
Was great.
They both qualified outside the top 10, and they finished very high up the field. I think it was 4th and 6th in the end because Leclerc had to give the position back to Albon.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I'm no offence to you, Rhys. I'm glad you're not here, so we don't have to listen to the Hamilton waffle.
Yeah, glazing him.
Yeah,
people.
I'm begging it. Well, I mean, talking about Ferrari, that shirt is tiny. So for context, these are all matte shirts. And you can see the significant size difference at the bottom. I don't know if it's on camera.
Yeah,
but
see, that shirt fits me now. That shirt fits me now. Yeah, not quite. That one's from when I was 13.
What age is that shirt?
13 to 14. Doesn't look it though.
Well, what do you mean it doesn't look it? Yes, it does.
I mean,
It's tiny.
no, but it looks smaller.
It's brilliant. That's what
No,
it is.
but I did think it was a good recovery though, because it was about.
Oh yeah, but for having a shite start, like they've really pulled it back.
I don't know how high that car ranks in terms of constructors, like where it is in terms of pace. I think it might be third or fourth.
It's third or fourth. I think it's between them and Williams. I think.
Oh, see, I was thinking I'd say it's McLaren obviously first. Then I'd say Mercedes a second. Then I would I'd put Red Bull or Ferrari and then Williams after that.
No, I think Red Bull's dropped.
You think it's below Williams?
Oh, what you mean point wise or just in general?
No, just like in general, like how fast they are.
Yeah, the Red Bull isn't a good car.
You don't think it's above Williams though? I know they've done well.
Well, yeah, it is above. It probably is above Williams.
I think they're third or fourth.
I don't know. I'd say Williams is above.
Well, we've got to talk about them as well because bloody Albon P5. He's P3 at one point as well. Yeah. What a race!
Albon's stormy.
I think Sainz finished P9 as well. He was in the points as well. I mean, it's their best season they've had in a very, very long time, isn't it?
Yeah.
Well, so far.
I like Williams a lot. That's why I got the shirt. But they're a good team, and it's good to see them fighting at the top.
Yeah. I mean, it all means for like nothing because next year it's all going to get changed anyway.
But surely it's a good sign that they've managed to build a good car for this year.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's project 2026, isn't it?
Yeah, that's the thing. They're building already from last year. They would have been building for next year, but they've still managed to put a very good car together this year. Although, could it just mean that all the other cars are shit?
Yeah.
It could just mean that they're all rubbish because they've not put any effort in.
Yeah. Well, I mean, next year it could just be like completely different, like field.
Well, especially when you look at Adrian Newey having moved to...
And also Audi coming in.
Yeah, Audi coming in. That'll change a lot. I think that'll change a lot of things.
Like, imagine like next year you got... I was going to say Sauber, but they are coming Audi. But imagine like you have like Aston Martin's the best car. And then imagine like McLaren and Red Bulls have just got the worst car.
Well, yeah, but Red Bull have always worked in like 4-year cycles of being good and then like 6 or 7 years of being rubbish. Like you saw it with Vettel as well. Like when he was there, then they went back to mediocrity. Well, not mediocrity, but you know, not having a car that can fight for a world title without a world-class driver. Because the thing is, Max is still in the title fight despite this car not being incredible.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, have we got much more to say on Imola, or should we move to Monaco?
We've just gone through qualifying.
We talked about the race. We've been talking about Albon finishing fifth.
Right. Yeah.
But they already keep.
I'm wrong.
we don't need to talk much. I mean, the one actually.
I'm tired.
He's full of sleep.
The one other thing I'd mention is Antonelli. Actually, I felt really bad for him. Obviously, he literally grew up in Bologna, which is about 20 miles from the circuit, and had to retire from a mechanical issue. Heartbreaking. It just seems.
I'm fairly certain. I think I predicted him to finish P3.
I said P3.
It would have been. Well, yeah, one of you did.
No, you said.
I said
you said
Antonelli
a McLaren, Hamilton, and then another McLaren, I think.
Well, we'll have a look in.
But yeah, I was upset for him because it just seems to be a home driver curse at any race now. Like the home driver's never going to do well.
Leclerc's next.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I will be shocked if a British driver wins the British Grand Prix as well, despite there being so many of them. I reckon Lando Norris will like spin out or something. Hamilton will crash and like.
Do you reckon the Ferraris like win a race this year?
I reckon. Yeah. I reckon they'll win one.
If it is, it's one.
I don't reckon they do.
I think they do. Do you know? I have a feeling they'll win at Monza again. There's just something. They just both drivers. Sorry, I know it's different driving now, but like the drivers there always know how well they need to perform because it's so important to the fans. Like Ferrari always do well at Monza, and it's a good track for them because they always build a car for speed. And well,
apart from the McLaren one too, quite a while ago.
Well, yeah, but that was like a ridiculous race. That was probably one of the most enjoyable F1 races I've watched in a long time, and because that was before they were good.
I must say this race has probably been.
It was a very good race, yeah.
Up there, I still say Miami's probably first.
Miami's definitely first.
Yeah, Miami was great. Australia was not bad start of the season because it was just chaos. But yeah, I thought there were some really good moves in this race as well though, because I think it was Hamilton did a really good move on George Russell, but someone did a very good move on him, and obviously got the Verstappen one at the start.
I think it was Lando that did George Russell.
It might have been Lando, yeah. Lando. In fact, it was Lando, and also the move Lando did on Piastri as well near the end to get into second was very good as well, I thought. Yeah, anything else to say on Imola?
Piss all, I think. Well, we can do our predictions. You've got them, don't you?
Oh yeah. Let's talk about what we predicted and what actually happened. Because
I think I've done
none of us got it
absolute
right.
shite.
I think all of us did awful.
So Paul was Piastri. Holly said Russell. You, for me, on my behalf, said Antonelli, and you said Norris. I think
I don't even know
Did I
how.
not say Verstappen? I thought I said Verstappen.
No, I thought me and Ethan put them in the chat, but we didn't.
I'm pretty sure I said Verstappen, Paul.
Well, this is what Holly put in the chat after. The
Yeah.
thing, so blame Holly.
And then podiums. So Holly said Lando first, Piastri second, and Leclerc third. So she got 2 of the podium drivers right, but not in the right place.
I don't even know how the point system works for. I think Rhys.
You just get 1 point. You get 1 point per prediction you get right.
Oh Christ.
Then you had Piastri, Hamilton, Norris. So you didn't get any of them right. You would have done it.
2 McLaren, Hamilton in the middle.
Yeah, and then
I had Anthony third.
Then you had Norris, Piastri, Antonelli.
Yeah.
Again, you both nearly got 1 point because you both said, well, you said Norris third and you said Piastri
Well,
second,
it's
which
not
only
difficult
happened
to
at
put
the
2
end.
McLarens in the top 3.
Yeah. And then P11, who I actually don't know who it was. Do you know
Fernando
who
Alonso.
was it?
Knowledge.
How did you remember that? So Holly said Colapinto. Then you said Tsunoda.
Who finished 10th? What
I
joke?
thought he finished 11th.
No, Tsunoda finished
Finished
No,
10th. He
10th.
must have
He
overtaken
finished
someone at the end.
Tsunoda's finished
And you
10th.
said Albon.
Yeah,
who
I took a
obviously finished
gamble.
fifth.
I took a gamble on that.
And then the last thing you predicted, fastest lap. Again, I don't know who that was.
Yeah, I can tell you fastest
I
lap was.
presume it was like Verstappen or...
It was Verstappen.
Yeah.
It was Verstappen.
You said... So Holly said Antonelli, you said Leclerc, and you said Russell.
I did.
No.
Which, to be fair, is not a bad prediction, I don't think.
So we all got nothing.
Yeah.
What a week. What a week.
I still thought Tsunoda finished 11th. When did he overtake the guy to finish
I got no
10th?
idea.
I couldn't tell you, but
Doesn't matter anyway.
well, we all got niche. So.
Oh, Monaco, though. What do we think of the 2 mandatory pit stop thing? We spoke about this right at the start of the season, but what
It
do you
was
think?
getting a
of it?
bit dross, so it's a lot better. I think it's a lot better.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's more of a chance for Ferrari to to have a blunder.
The thing is, I'm a traditionalist, so I don't like it. I think it should be 1 stop because for me as well, Monaco's never been about the racing. It's been about the spectacle of it and like watching these cars go as close to the barriers as physically possible without touching them.
They still will.
And
Yeah.
but qualifying is why you watch Monaco, not for the race. In my opinion.
The race is boring because nothing
that's
ever
why
really
they're in
happens.
2 stops. So
Yeah.
there's more overtakes.
No, but there won't be though.
Different strategies.
You're still gonna have the same overtakes. It's just people are gonna pit more. That's the thing.
Yeah, so
Yeah, but
more
yeah, it's
overtakes.
gonna be
There's still
strategy.
not going to be good racing action. It's just people are going to be pitting more. I know
No, but
strategy is a part of
if
it.
you
but
pit more, then there's different strategies. Different strategies mean certain cars faster than other cars, meaning more overtakes.
yeah, but if
Yeah,
they're too,
but-
if
do like them.
if they're too big to get past them anyway, because the cars are just too big now, then it doesn't matter how
Yeah, the
much
cars are
faster
too
you are.
big,
If
to
you
be
can't
fair.
get past, you can't get past.
Have you seen how big like the next year cars are going to be?
Yeah,
bigger.
I don't know how
They're
they're
gonna
going
be
to
big.
get around Monaco.
How's Monaco going to
I
be?
think it'll probably be physically impossible to overtake apart from very certain parts of that track.
But it means more crashes. More crashes.
But someone raised this point on Twitter the other day, which I saw, and it makes sense that Formula E goes to Monaco, and the racing there is brilliant. So it shows it's probably not the track, it's the cars, because they're just too big to go around.
Yeah,
that
but even the
track.
Formula E cars are pretty huge, aren't
Yeah,
they?
but they're smaller than the F1 cars, and they can all overtake each other quite. Like it's still exciting when they go to Monaco.
Yeah, be interesting.
But I just don't like. I don't think you can make one race have different rules to every other race.
No, I think they'll start putting 2-stop rules in for more races.
You think?
It does make it more exciting because then it's more strategies and more chances for like.
The whole
cutouts.
point is more overtakes. That's
Yeah.
the main thing.
Well, that is
Yeah, but
that is what you watch F1 for.
Does it not
Yeah.
also mean though that there might be less overtakes because if teams are on different strategies, there'll be points where one car's 20 seconds ahead, and then the other one will pit, then they'll pit a couple laps later, and then
Yeah, but then there's
everyone will
other
just pit
cars
and
that
it'll
will
never
come back
actually
into
fight.
it.
Yeah, but I just feel like apart from the first few laps and the last few laps, no one will be fighting because they'll all just be pitting at different times, so they'll be all out of sync with each other.
Unless they all pit at the same time, and then it's.
But that's
the
the
thing
point
is-
of
For
2-stop
overtake later,
strategy
yeah.
because it's different strategies, so they won't pit at the same time.
Yeah, but but if there's an obvious
Yeah, but
quickest...
that's good drama though. If everyone's pitting at the same time,
No, because I think if there's an obvious two-stop
Another pit
strategy...
crash.
exactly.
If there's an obvious two-stop strategy like soft, medium, because you can manage that at the track, then everyone will do that, and then they will all pit at the same time or same couple of laps.
Well, let's just hope it rains.
That would be
Nah, it's
good.
Monaco. It won't rain.
Monaco is always good when it rains, but it doesn't rain. But
Didn't it not stop for like 2 hours the other year?
yeah, that was the one time. Yeah, because that's what will happen if it will rain. The races won't happen because they just stop it.
It's also too dangerous. If it rains in Monaco,
Yeah.
like that's
Yeah, to be fair,
way too
it's
dangerous.
already hard enough to keep out of the barriers there. But who do we think might be fast here? other than the McLarens, because that's boring. Because Verstappen just won the race.
Well, I'm also thinking from the angle that Verstappen keeps complaining about brakes, and if you can't brake in Monaco, you are fucked. So I think Red Bull could be a problem in this race.
But then again, they've always got a good chassis. It's the thing they build well in the car.
Yeah, but if he can't brake, imagine going into that
If
hairpin.
he complains about the brakes, like that's a bad thing.
Going into the hairpin and can't brake it.
He can brake though. It's just
Unless
the
there was an upgrade from the last race, then I would still say
the brakes are just awkward though. I think so. He can still brake. It's not like the
no,
car
but he's
won't brake.
complaining about the brakes. If he's complaining about the brakes, he's clearly got a problem with it.
Well, yeah, but if the chassis, if he can manage the brakes around the track and the chassis is good because the Red Bull always build a good chassis, then I think they've got a good chance. Because Red Bull always seem to go well at Monaco because they build a car for a track like that for slow speed and fast and quite fast speed corners as well.
Yeah, maybe.
Because a car like Ferrari is much more built for speed and straight lines and.
I think every car is built for speed.
Yes, but as in going down the straight faster than any of the other cars.
I think I like Mercedes in this race. I think
Yeah,
Mercedes do.
I see that as well. I think they.
I'm gonna go Williams. I reckon Williams have.
They could,
got
to be
something in
fair.
the bag.
I want a Williams win this season. I don't think it will happen.
I
but
think,
want
I
it.
think Williams' win is more likely than Ferrari.
Really?
It's just the names are better. Like Hamilton and Leclerc are just better than Sainz Albon.
I've said
Williams have done better.
8-time champions.
I've said from the start of the season though that I think Sainz and Albon is one of the best driver pairings on the grid. I'd take second to Hamilton and Albon.
Yeah,
Sorry,
exactly.
Hamilton and Leclerc.
Yeah, exactly.
No, I wouldn't say they're second. I'd say
Who else did you say is above?
Norris Piastri.
Yeah, Norris Piastri.
Okay, maybe them. They're at least third.
I'd say it goes Norris Piastri. Then
Leclerc, Hamilton.
What you'd say Piastri and
No, I'm
Norris are
saying
better
then
than Leclerc and Hamilton. I'd say Leclerc and Hamilton are the best two drivers like together on the grid.
no.
Yeah, but also Hamilton's not Hamilton 5 years ago.
Yeah, but he's still
He's
quick,
old.
and Leclerc is one of the quickest
Hamilton's
drivers
old.
as well.
He's washed.
Leclerc
is
on his
old.
day when he's qualifying well, he won't get
Yeah,
stopped.
but it's on his day. He's like, he performs really well one every 4 or 5 races.
No, but I'm saying if you could have any of these driver pairings like at their top level, like driving really well,
yeah, but then obviously
then I would take Hamilton and Leclerc any day.
yeah, but that doesn't happen.
Because he's won the most world championships on the grid.
Yeah, but it's not just that. It's Leclerc as well is a very good driver because it's all well and good having one quick driver. If they're not both gonna get to the top, then
Yeah, but if you're saying that in their prime, well, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but then you just
well,
put
that
Hamilton Verstappen together.
I think
Yeah.
if Leclerc and Hamilton were in that McLaren, they'd be winning every race by 15 seconds. Like,
yeah, because it's a
together.
McLaren car.
Yeah, but McLaren aren't winning every race by not both drivers getting up by 15 seconds every race. I think each of the drivers would be that far ahead, not just one each race.
Yeah, but I also think McLaren's a clearly better car than most.
Yeah, but
McLaren is the
but
best
my,
car.
my
Yeah.
point is, if you put Leclerc and Hamilton in that car, I think they win the races even more comfortably than the current McLaren drivers. I think they'd be so much faster.
Don't know. Well, Piastri's like level isn't tested yet, really, like to how good he is.
Well,
you know he's good, but
He's
he's
top of the
good.
drivers' championship. To be fair,
Yeah.
Yeah, but for how long?
I think he stays there for a while.
Do you think he wins the whole thing then?
I don't know. I'm not going to make an outrageous claim like that yet.
Oh.
But
I said it last week that he was. He
Yeah.
will.
I do think I back him more than Norris because I think he's got a cooler head. But
Well, yeah, we've not seen him when he wins a race. Yeah, thank you.
he
It's
doesn't
been
seem to
great.
care much, does he?
Cool. It's just like, job done, yeah, get on with it.
Just locked
Move on.
in the whole time.
Yeah.
No, but I like him as well as a driver. I think his driving style is very. I like it. He's calm. He's very consistent as well. Like it's rare you see him make a mistake. I know Australia he spun, but that race was ridiculous conditions, and that was the only mistake, like big mistake he's made this season. Whereas I think Norris has more of a mistake in him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Verstappen's going to be able to challenge for the title in that car. Well, he might, but I don't think he's got a harder job than Piastri. So I think Piastri will stay there for a while. But what do you think he won't then?
No, I reckon he wins something.
You do?
Yeah. I mean, you said last week, I reckon he wins the whole thing.
It will be him or Norris. Let's be realistic. It's going to be a McLaren
If
because
Verstappen does what he did last week, then
but he can't
he's
do
back
that
in
he can't drag that car.
I
every
agree.
Yeah,
week.
I do agree.
Especially if he can't break.
If he won it this year, it would be his best win.
Oh, for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
Well, we don't know what's going to happen this season.
Well, it's,
to be fair,
well, it's,
'cause
the most
Red-
it's been the most competitive it has been.
But Red Bull might bring in a massive upgrade, say at Monaco, and then they might be level on pace with McLaren. You never know.
Yeah, that'd be.
But they're building for next year is what we got to remember. So they're probably still not going to bring in any other upgrades, which is why I think Verstappen is screwed this season, really, in terms of wanting to win it.
I think he knows that as well.
Yeah.
Well, it's why rumours he wants to move and stuff like that.
Do you think how early do you think he'll retire? Because I remember when he won the first one, there were rumours he was going to retire because he just wants to win the titles. He doesn't care about just racing.
Nah, I think he'll stay on. A lot of these F1 drivers will go to their 40.
You reckon?
They all want to.
Because I originally
Well, think of the money. They're getting paid bucket loads.
I thought Verstappen.
They were all rich in the first place. Like,
well, yeah, you have to be. It's a pay to get in sport, but then you do have to be good.
Well, you might as well just set up your family at that point.
Their families are already set up in the first place for them to get to that point.
Yeah, because you have to have money to do karting lessons and then to get into the formulas and then all the way through.
I try to speak. Right sound.
Well, no, but because I hate this gimmick though that they are only there because they're rich. Because I know it's a factor.
I mean, look at Stroll.
Look at
Stroll.
Look at Stroll. It's a factor. But why would they be in that? If they're not
the fact to say that people
like
don't have money in F1, they're anomalies. If they're anomalies in that scenario, then you kind of do have to be rich to be.
No, but they're not. They're not there because they're rich. They're there because they're quick drivers. But
they're quick drivers and they're rich.
Yeah, but they couldn't be there if they weren't.
And they've got their parents owning a team. Look at Mazepin and Stroll.
Yeah, Stroll is a bit different, but I still think he gets overhated. I still think he's quick enough.
No,
he's
Stroll
quick enough.
He
wouldn't be in because there'd be much more outrage if he was in that team and he wasn't quick enough. But I do wonder if this might be Stroll's last year.
I just can't stand
If Aston Martin are going to build a quick car next year, they're going to need a quick driver if they want to compete. They can't have Lance Stroll.
I actually can't stand him.
He's a good driver, but he's not one to compete at the top.
He's a tractor driver. That's about all he is. I actually don't like him. Like,
what's got you so?
I don't know.
About Lance Stroll?
I think it's been said every single time I've been on this. I just don't like Lance Stroll.
He's just a chill guy, though.
No.
He's not a chill guy. He's definitely not a chill guy.
I don't think.
It's just his eyebrows, you know.
I don't think he's that unlikable.
I think he is unlikable. I'm not saying I don't like him, but he is like. As soon as you put in that his dad owns a bit of Aston Martin and that's how he's got the seat,
that's the only
that immediately makes it unlikable.
But I don't think he's unlikable just because his dad's rich. I think
that is what makes him unlikable.
I don't think that makes him an unlikable person. His dad's rich and that makes him unlikable, but there's nothing else particularly unlikable about him.
I can tell you, I just don't like him. I just don't like him.
Well, should we get on to our predictions for Monaco?
Mm-hmm. Sure.
Who's getting pole?
Oh, go on, you can start us off.
You want me to start?
Yeah, you're the host.
Oh, pole. I feel like it's going to be Oscar Piastri. I'm going to be really boring and say Oscar Piastri.
This is why Matt is top of the prediction table, because he's boring.
Well, why does it matter? I want to prove that I have the most knowledge about F1, so I'm going boring.
Who's covering for whose predictions?
Well, I'm doing my own one, so one of you's covering for Rhys and one of you covering for Holly, so you can decide between you.
Rhys R. Your name isn't going to H, but Rhys R, so I'm Rhys.
Okay, yeah.
Cool.
That's as close to logic as we're going to get. So.
Holly, I apologise.
Right, who are you both going for pole then?
George Russell.
To be fair, I don't mind that because I nearly said him. I was thinking it could be a surprise one.
Chucking a name out. Ocon.
I really want to say Antonelli, but I'm going to say Norris.
I just feel like Monaco is one of those tracks where you can get a weird pole because it's just whoever commits the most.
If Ocon's now on pole, I'm going to scream.
I really feel like Antonelli's going to have a storyline of having a comeback from his home race. I just feel like that's going to happen.
But it wasn't his fault, his home race, to be fair. It was just...
Couldn't really do much about it.
I feel like that's just going to happen. I don't know why.
Right, well, as normal, we'll do the podium next.
We'll go with Russell.
Russell to win?
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, I'm going on the basis that...
Sorry, Holly, for Ethan's predictions.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying that it's not going to change. So if I'm saying Russell on pole, then I'm going to go Russell, Norris, and we'll go Fernando Alonso.
What?
I'm taking the piss. We'll go change the Fernando Alonso to Piastri.
What? So Russell, Norris, Piastri.
Yeah.
What are you going with, Ronnie?
I want to put Albon third, but I feel like...
Albon, yeah. Change Piastri to Albon.
What, you think Piastri doesn't finish in the podium and Albon does?
Yeah.
Wow.
Bold.
I want to put Albon third, but because he's finished fifth last week, I just don't think he's
going to finish
I
was going to put Albon somewhere in the podium, but now you two have. I'm not going to.
I know, I'm not going to, but I really want to. I'm going to say Piastri to win, and then he becomes a priority driver now. Then Verstappen second, Norris third.
Yeah. See, I feel like this is a race that could have a lot of like incidents and crashes. I feel like one of the
That's what I think.
I think one of the top drivers not going to finish. I don't think it'll be Verstappen. I feel like Norris could make a mistake. So I'm going to leave him out. I'm going to say Piastri to win, Verstappen second, and Russell third.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be 2 Red Bull cars at the end of the race. I think one of them's going to crash.
You think?
Yeah, I think one of them's going to crash.
That's a cool prediction. It's not on the list, but we'll remember that's a prediction you made.
I think one of them is going to crash.
I reckon it'll be Max.
I do the
it
more.
Could be. It could be.
I don't think he'd crash on his own though. I think it would have to involve another car. I don't think Max is the kind of.
This is
driver
what I'm saying about the
control.
brakes. Like it can.
It would just go into the hairpin and just.
What do you think?
No, but not even that. Not even just him. It could be another car. He's got to worry about a car trying to overtake him, and then he's got to worry about a corner coming. He's got to brake. It's too late. Bang into the wall.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Well, I'll do the more boring of the other two now. We'll do P9.
P9.
Carlos Sainz.
Yeah, it's where he finished last race. I think.
Did he?
I think so.
Ocon.
I'll go with.
That's not good then.
Tsunoda.
Yeah, he probably will keep getting better. I think Tsunoda.
It's either him or Hadjar. I was thinking, but I think I got.
No, Hadjar finished 9th. That's who finished 9th.
Oh, was it?
Yeah,
I
think Sainz 7th. I think Sainz 7th.
He was. Yeah, okay. And then this is. I thought I'd do a fun one for Monaco. First to make their second mandatory pit stop. So not their first.
Christ.
Because they all have to make 2. I thought I'd do first to pit for a second time.
So someone could mess up at the start and need a pit stop and then pit stop again.
That's we've got to consider it all.
That is what I think.
Again, this is a stab in the dark because you don't know who's going to pit when.
Someone's going to get
Ollie Behrman. Chelsea boy.
Nico Hulkenberg.
I've got a reason for mine. I'm going to go with Lewis Hamilton because I think Ferrari are going to mess up their strategy.
Oh, yeah.
So I think they'll mess up their strategy and he'll be put on a weird one and he'll have to pit early twice.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, we got anything else to cover? Any random F1 news that you want to talk about? Or?
Nish, I don't think there's been.
Well,
there's a load of Miami for Jesus.
Christ.
Wow. You can tell I'm tired. There was a lot of Miami news in general, wasn't there? So I feel like this was more of a.
I'm going to say because there was
calmer.
so much from Miami. This is kind of like more, not much to say.
Settle down a little bit.
Yeah, right. Well, that is where we'll end this episode of the Chequered Show. If you did enjoy, please make sure to like and subscribe. Follow us on our TikTok as well. We've got a charity match coming up as well, so make sure you buy tickets for that if you're interested, and we will see you in the next one.